Okay, so this is going to be my review on Gotham by Gaslight. Now, I do have the original comic. I don't have like a special edition hardcover. Yeah, I have the original issue. I have the original 1989 comic. How I got it, I just got it at a convention for about $2. And it's cool, interesting too, because now for like you can get these special edition comics for Gotham by Gaslight for like what, $20. C'est la vie, as I say, such is life. But anyway, on to the review. Now, the comic book itself of Gotham by Gaslight is a story. Oh, I'm sorry if you can hear that. That's my dog. The story itself is basically this is DC's first Elseworld story, and notice that it wasn't called an Elseworld story at all. It's just a tale of Batman. The writer is Brian Augustyn. Artist is the artist is Mike Mignola. He does the pencils, and P. Craig Russell does the inks, and David Hornig, I hope I'm saying that last one right, is the color artist. So there's about 3 artists, but you know, Mike Mignola, you can clearly tell the at least the body art, the body work of how the body of the characters look is Mike Mignola. What? I'm sorry, my dog's he's whining. What? Huh? What's wrong with you? If you can hear him, I don't know how well the mic's going to be able to pick him up. Anyway, getting back to this, I'm sorry guys, I totally lost my place. Like I said, this is the first Elseworld story, but like I said, it wasn't called an Elseworld story. It was just called A Tale of Batman. Now I find it interesting that they just they just decided to refer them as Elseworld stories rather than when the next few stories came out for different universe stories, like it wasn't called A Tale of Batman or A Tale of Superman. I'm curious to know of why these became called Elseworlds. And I gotta say, I always love Elseworld stories over Marvel's What Ifs. I'll take an Elseworld story over a What If story any day. Because with an Elseworld story, you're getting an entirely different universe, rather than, oh, what if this happened, or oh, what if that happened. I mean, Marvel travels into I guess, quote-unquote, Elseworld stories like Marvel Zombies, but Marvel Zombies and Marvel Apes and Marvel Noir. But with Elseworld stories, you're getting an entire universe each time, rather than Marvel just expanding on, just making their universes just. Well, you know, I'm just going to go into a rant, and I'd like to get into the actual review because we're already in 4 minutes in. But anyway, this is not a long book. This is just a one-shot book. There was a sequel in 1992 called Batman: Master of the Future, which I have not read. I intend to because I love the steampunk stuff. And Batman really fits. This takes place in a universe where Bruce Wayne is in the year 1988, and he's come back to Gotham to start a career as Batman. Now, the Batman costume in here of the this universe of the 18th century Batman looks fantastic. The costume looks fantastic. It looks very dark and menacing, very interesting, and very out there. And it does play up with it does follow to a point with Batman's origin, where a man shoots and kills Thomas and Martha Wayne and leaves Bruce alive. But however, he was supposed to be killed in this, but then he is somehow a swarm of bats show up and startle the killer, and he runs off. So we say more about why Bruce Wayne became Batman in this universe. Like I said, this is not a long story by any long shot. This is not a long story. This pretty much reads out like one shot. It's a good detective story, and the main villain here you'd think is, for those who haven't read this, you'd think it'd be like someone like, oh, it's the Joker or the Penguin. No, it's Jack the Ripper. Yeah, Jack the Ripper is the main villain in here. And I gotta say, they kinda handled this poorly. This part of the story they handled poorly. Because, well, when there's a character in here that shows up, a character shows up at the beginning of the story. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a I don't want to spoil who it is, but there's a beginning in the there's a character at the beginning of the story who you meet, and you know, it kind of just knocks you over the head that this guy, you know, from the beginning, you just kind of figure, yeah, he's the bad guy. But it's not that. It's just that it's handled poorly, because when I saw this character show up, I was like, oh, that's Jack the Ripper. So, yeah. But the rest of the story around it, this is a very interesting take on the Gotham City and Batman universe as well. The first scene where we see Batman, break up this robbery at the docks, and it's very interesting because Batman, he doesn't use batarangs in here. He uses knives, and he just throws them, and they just impale. Blood actually looks very interesting with them. Whenever Batman uses the knives and throws it at somebody, blood just comes out. And whenever Jack kills a woman, the blood looks very fluid. I know it looks fluid as in, like, it looks very stylized. There's the better word, because I was about to sound very stupid there. It's a very nice take, and I really just like that, just how they make Batman look. I like the costume. Like, it's not really a cape. It's kind of like a trench coat. I also like the fact that this is that this also makes, because whenever Batman shows up in here, whenever they have Batman, his face is very clouded or shaded out. Excuse me. But like I said, his face is very shaded, or he looks like a dark and menacing figure, like he is in the comics. But they really make him look like he's a supernatural character, because one minute he's there, and even when they're talking to him, one minute he's there and one minute he's gone. He's just in the cover of darkness. And keep in mind, people, back in the 18th century, people were very superstitious. So Batman, this is a very good place to have Batman in. This is just a very good story. Like I said, the identity of Jack the Ripper is very, I consider very poorly. But in a short story like this, it kind of makes sense. But on the other hand, my question is, why didn't they do a 3-part mini, at least cover the whole? I think it would have, in my opinion, it's just my opinion that maybe they should have, instead of just do a one-shot story, maybe they should have done like a 3 or 4-part miniseries about this, because then you could expand upon the rest of the universe and make cameos of other characters and show in other characters that you said, oh, that could have been, oh, that guy could be Jack, or she could be Jack the Ripper, because in this one shot, you just automatically know when this character shows up at the beginning of the story. So that's the only complaint I have. It's not a big complaint, and this is, like I said, an all-around good story. In fact, like I said, this is what started the Elseworld stuff. Now, is this one of my favorite Elseworld stories? Kinda. It's not up there like on top 10, like, oh my god, greatest Elseworld story ever. But I will give it credit that it is the first, and it does have some imperfections. And also, like I said, if this was made into, like, if this was at least a 3-part miniseries, I think I would have liked it a lot better, because there would have been more room to have a bigger mystery, rather than, you know, you figure it out. Because having it being figured out, you could figure it out from the beginning, rather than with Batman, because you're kind of knocking you over the head, like, it's that guy. So that's really my only complaint with it. But all in all, this is a very good book. I suggest to get this for any DC fan or any major Batman fan. This is a must for any Batman fan, especially if you're looking for like something, you know, different. You don't need to, with Elseworld stories. What I also like about Elseworld stories is that you don't need this is another reason why I like Elseworld stories over Marvel's What Ifs, is that you don't really... whenever you read an Elseworld story, it's a completely new universe in itself. It is something you're reading something completely different. You don't need to read continuity or anything. You just need to you just need to know who the characters are. So that's really about it when it comes to an Elseworld story, because with What Ifs, you have to be like, oh, this event happened and that event happened, they just changed minor things. Elseworlds, nah, it's a totally different thing. And Gotham by Gaslight shows that. So like I said, this is a definite must for any, Batman fan or DC fan, or if you're looking to get into an Elseworld story. Other ones, this is actually, for me, this is gonna get a 4 out of 5. It would have been a 5 out of 5 if it were not for the Jack the Ripper thing, about the identity of Jack the Ripper. So that's probably my only complaint. That's why it's not getting a full 5 out of 5. But it is a good Batman story, and you have to take it for what it is. It's a very greatly written story. Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne actually shines more in here than Batman. So this is a good character piece for the character of in my opinion, it's a very good character piece for the character of Batman, not Bruce Wayne. So, excuse me, for Bruce Wayne, not Batman. Woo, I was about to sound incredibly stupid right there. Glad I caught myself. Sorry about that. But like I said, it's a good character piece for the character of Bruce Wayne, not Batman. Because Batman, you only see Batman in here, hit Bruce Wayne as Batman in here twice. Well, 3 times if you count all those little, like a montage of all Batman fighting all these crimes on 2 pages. So I guess you could say 3 times. But all in all, like I said, this is a get. But you might be disappointed with the Jack the Ripper stuff. But it is a very good, very nicely written Elseworld story.